And what do you think overall is your magic then?
Desire to help people. I like to help people. This is like a boomerang. If you run this boomerang of help, someday this help come back to you. Maybe yes, maybe not, but doesn't matter. It's good desire and good goal.
Welcome to Magic Academy podcast. Today with us is Kirill, the founder of CleverPoint, a smart
Hey,
device that measures your physiological state and advocates for physiological diversity. We've heard about diversities in a very traditional term, but physiological diversity is something very, very interesting and so curious to learn about that. So welcome, Kirill, to the podcast.
nice to meet you, and thanks for such a opportunity to be here.
Thank you for sharing your time and wisdom with us. If we were to learn about you or get to know you for the first time, and how would you introduce yourself in a way that no one has heard about yet?
In my past, I was a jazz musician, and I loved jazz improvisation. And this played a crucial role, I believe, in my development because being flexible, being able to hear and to listen to other people, not to being afraid to step outside the classical boundaries, everything like in real business. I love a loving husband and a father of two harming children and a loyal business partner. Thank
I
you.
love how you transfer the music, the way that we play music, into the way that we conduct life and business and beyond. It's beautiful.
Yep, our life is like improvisation, so let's try play the jazz right now.
Yes, yes. So we may be very curious, like CleverPoint, and can you share with us like what exactly does CleverPoint do and why did you build it?
Okay. In my native language, the word for clever means clover. And the fifth leaf of the clover is magical. And we are the fifth leaf. And clever point, what is clever point is the typical headsets which we equip with our face mask and with dry electrodes and this small box, one of the brain of our technology, because the second brain is our algorithms, which allows us to record the electrical activity of the brain, the activity of the cardiovascular system and autonomic nervous system. In simple words, we work with heart and brain activity. And based on this data, we understand a lot about your real physiological state. Today, we are able to recognize more than 9 functional states from severe fatigue to stress and hyperstress and anxiety. And when we developed this technology, we saw a lot of fields for applications, like from neuromarketing, gaming, rehabilitation, and so on and so forth. But we very close to medicine because my business partner, he's a PhD in medicine. In our team work people from neurophysiology, psychotherapy. So that's why we decided that we must bring value in the health, yeah, in mental health. And this is like a basis of our technology and our solutions. Because we try to help people how to conquer stress, how to avoid burnout, or even how to recognize and to get to know yourself better through the prism of your physiological data.
And when you're talking about stress, anxiety, in our initial conversation, you were talking about that kind of the perfect flow zone where we're not too anxious. We have a healthy level of stress, and then we have a healthy level of calm, and then that's the sweet spot.
Mhm.
Can you share with us a little bit more, like how, without going too much into the technical details, how do you measure that? Like, how do you say, oh, this person is under tremendous stress versus this person is like too calm and not being very productive per se? So how do
Uh,
you?
what we are doing in virtual reality, we provide a set of tests. These tests are very simple, and this is what you can observe in the right corner. Yeah, this is what the user is doing. These tests are very easy, and even kids like 12 or 15 years old can pass it through. But during this exercise, we measure physiological response. This is what you can observe from the left, yeah? Like a brain activity, electromyography data, and cardiogram, and so on and so forth. And upon completion 20-25 minute test, it's a very short period of time, the system automatically generates a report, and this report is like a mirror to your state, because based on this data, report is a bit huge, like 23-25 pages, but through the prism of this data, we understand your strengths and risk and development areas. We provide some recommendations what kind of trainees are suitable to you to improve your physiological or cognitive parameters. But what is more important, we understand your stress resistance. And here I would like to stress your attention to this chart. All these dots, which you can observe here, are people. But each zone is very important on this chart. For instance, people who are lying in this range, they are candidates for future burnout. Why? Because they activate their physiology in an adequate manner. And this is a topic for them. But what is more important, people who lie here, for instance, for them, the stress is a fuel of their efficiency. But for these people, stress is very risky because they become a bit frozen or not so smart. But in real life, they're smart. But under the stress, under the pressure of stress, they make mistakes, delays, and so on and so forth. Here we see people who practically already on 99% burn out. Why? Because these people don't care what will be inside of VR in the report or afterwards. And we see some kind of anomaly in their cardio activity. And many, many other zones. For instance, here people with ADD issues like attention deficit disorder. But what is more important, when we understand who you are and where you are located in this chart, we can understand how to communicate and operate with you. And this is what we call physiological diversity, because look how all these dots or people are spread within this chart. Means that from physiology point of view, we are all entirely different. And at the same task, we react absolutely in different manner. And question is, if we can recognize it, we can understand how to improve the communication with you, how to improve the efficiency or work with you. Yeah, keeping in mind your abilities in your specific abilities, and this is a way for empathy development, emotional intelligence development, leadership development. Yeah, because people understand and accept not only similarities but also differences between to each other.
And I was looking at this chart. Can we go up a little bit? Yeah. And I'm seeing like a lot of dots are actually when the stress level is a
Yes.
little bit high. And then, so yeah, so the work efficiency when they're really high. Yeah. So, like, when there is a healthy level of stress level, maybe around four, four, 4 or 5, that's where I see mostly the high efficiency is like high efficiency
I
around there.
can explain you. 2 years ago, we used not our statistical data, but today, when through the solution already passed more than around 2,000 managers and employees, we see our own statistics. And this statistics is very terrible. More than 53% of people are at risk of burnout. From them, more than 26%, those people where stress is influencing on their productivity. They're smart, they're effective, but they're very stressful. And unfortunately, the problematic is that people have absolutely low awareness about the relationship between the physiology and their behavior. This is a simple example, different states within the test, and this person, for instance, absolutely stressful. Yeah, this person is not able even to switch him off. Yeah, and unfortunately, 90% of people have more or less the same picture. They are not able to switch them off even when they have a free time. Today's modern world, today's working activities, challenges, private life and business life, everything creates some kind of pressure, yeah. And our brain every time is working, even when we have free time. And this is what we want to show people that look, right now you, let's example 30, yeah, but you are absolutely stressful. You are not able to relax. You are lying somewhere here in the
Mm.
red zone. Question is very simple. What will be in 5 years? Yeah, because
So it's not sustainable.
not sustainable. Yeah, because our body reacts on stress absolutely in different manner. Jiani, in one hand, stress is important for our life because sex, children, everything what is very nice, our happiness, it's also like a stress, and this is good. Without stress, no life, yeah. But question regarding the negative stress and how to recognize it and how to control and manage this stress. This is a
Mm.
topic for us, to us.
I really appreciate that you like showing us visually so we actually understand what, what are some parameters right there. And you mentioned about people who are high stress while also have high productivity. Those type of people will produce a lot of things and feel productive even in a very short in short term, maybe 1 to 5 years. I think even 5 years is a little bit too long. And then they will go to a point where the stress starts to negatively impact their activities per se. And then what would be like from a systematic perspective in that chart, where would we locate ideally so we can work more sustainably with a healthy dose of stress?
No such point. Each person is absolutely unique, yeah. But question is, if I'm really stressful, and because many people think that okay, I'm stressful, but for people it's just like a thought, yeah. But when they meet with themselves through the prism of the data, question is, okay, I believe in it, yeah. I must accept it, and question what the next. What can I improve? Yeah, and how can I change myself, for instance, if you wish. If not, no problem. You can forget about this report or data or whatever. Each person is unique, yeah, and everybody has absolutely unique abilities, yeah, in different spheres. And we can be absolutely stressful but very effective. Question is, if I'm stressful, how long I can be effective?
Right.
Yeah. And topic is that someday I will come to my employer and say that, look, I'm tired. I must go. Yeah. And for business, this is problematic because the replacement cost is really huge, specifically when we are talking about our goodwill, about people, yeah, managers or experts or specialists who really bring a lot of value for the companies. Me personally, I burned out twice. One time when I worked for a huge IT company and was like a strategic account manager. And the second time when I was a founder for my previous business. And I know what burnout brings me, my family, my career, and people who surrounded me. Yeah, and because it's really costly story. And just imagine, based on our statistic, 53% managers are at risk of burnout. Now, just imagine the cost to your organization if half of your managers burn out. This rhetorical question, yeah. But not everything is so dramatic. We just must to inform and to show, and then step how to avoid and how to improve yourself based on this data.
Is there like a longitudinal study where for folks who are high performing and high stress, is there any early signals that you can see that they need to start to be aware and that particular point can be that like point of change?
Good news that you can improve your physiology. It's a time-consuming process, and it will take time because cognition, your cognitive parameters, you can improve within probably 3, 5, 6 months. Yeah, any parameter. But when we're talking about the physiology also might be improved, but for a bit longer period of time, like within a year or within 1.5 year. It depends on your desire to change, but it's really possible. And the solution which we use is like a periodical testing because you can check your improvement every time, yeah, to see what is your condition right now. More, we have a lot of users, let's call it clients, who check themselves periodically. Why? Because they want to understand different functional states for different period of time. For instance, at the beginning of week, after the 2 weeks of hard job, or after the nightclub, yeah, and a lot of alcohol, how it's reflecting on them. It depends on your desire, yeah. And but when you know yourself in different typical life situations, it give people ability to understand how manage their behavior in this sort of situation. And let's call it like even mindfulness development, because if I know already or hear signals of my body, and I know that in that moment I will be not so productive, for me this signal that probably I will not make a decision right now, yeah, but
Because
probably
I am
later.
in the verge of burnout
Yes,
stress
or
or
probably I need
performance.
to do it a bit later when I will recover. Yeah, probably we know all our team through the prism of the data, and we understand how to communicate and to each other. And this is what we call real well-being, because no any kind of free cakes or free lunches or some kind of free perks which corporates invest to the people not create real well-being. Only when we understand each other and accept each other.
I love that. And I will be curious, within your team, I would suppose that everybody's using this. How would the manager manage and how would the talent kind of communicate with each other and with manager and collaborate?
We have a lot of stories, not only our own, but clients' stories. And one of the story, one of the top managers decided to check himself with our solution, and he found that he's really very stressful. But what is more important, stress influenced on his cognition. So under the stress, his cognitive parameters was very low, and efficiency was very shifted to the low zone because of stress. Yeah, and within 1 year, he tried to change himself, and he did it. He did it with the help of a psychotherapist, with own mental health practice like breathing and so on and so forth. But uh, by the way, breathing techniques is very helpful and useful, but not for everybody. Specifically
Oh.
for people who are really stressful and really productive, for them, breathing doesn't work. For them, more effective way to have some kind of sport or sex or whatever, but to burn their stress, and only after that they can already breathe. Yeah, but let's come back to
Oh,
this.
so like jogging, swimming,
Yes,
competitive
yes, exactly,
sports,
exactly,
or
exactly.
DJing, some people are doing.
Exactly, exactly. But this story with this top manager, the good point was that he was really proud that he did it. But what is more important, he mentioned that I understand right now that my team is absolutely different and I can adjust communication based on the physiology data. And he began to use it for their team. Because very often I hear in my past or even right now somewhere, very often I hear that stupid employee, you are not able to do this or that. No, probably it's not employee stupid, but probably you, dear manager, a bit not stupid, but you have not enough empathy to recognize that under your pressure, under your behavior, under your words or whatever, you jump into the stress of this person. And right now, under the stress, this employee is not able to process in classical manner because he is under the pressure. based on his mind, based on his cardio activity, his nervous system, and so on and so forth. But we can recognize it. We understand who you are. Moreover, we understand not only whether you're stressful or not, but what is your nervous system? What tasks are more suitable to you, short term or long term? Do you need a rest between your tasks or not? What is the duration of this rest? Because for some people, it's enough 2 minutes to recover after the stress. For another people, half an hour is not enough to recover after the stress because of their physiological constitution. Question: is it really valuable to know it if we want to create a powerful team or to reach or cover our challenges? We believe that yes.
Then my question is, will that change over time? I think people tend to manage stress and they tend to strive on stress and for a period of time change, and maybe as time goes by they may not be able to handle stress as well, and then the time between peak performance and burnout is getting shortened and shortened. Is there something like that? There's different levels, like people are different, and people now and people in the future may also be different, where they're
Yeah, there are two choices from my perspective. First of all, to get to know yourself and be acquainted with your stress, yeah, somehow. Or second point, probably to change your approach in your work. Because if I'm a stressful guy, yeah, but this is my lifestyle and business and whatever, and I must be in some kind of forsage mode, yeah. The question is, I have no time to change myself probably, but I can change my schedule. I can change my approach to life. Probably, I don't know, not to answer to mails after 6 p.m., yeah, or probably switch your phone off after 7 p.m., yeah, or not to set up 10 meetings per day, but only 3 or 4, because based on Pareto, only 20% brings value, yeah, or something like this. This is also a topic of choice. But definitely, if you are able to recognize the signals of your body, it's helpful for you personally and for your business life, for instance. Me personally, today I know what is my breathing rate, because based on our technology, we can understand specific breathing rate of each person. And I already trained and I can reproduce my breathing rate, duration of inhale and exhale, which activate my parasympathetic system responsible for relaxation. And I use this technique everywhere, within the negotiations, within the sales period, or even right now when we are talking within the screen. Yeah. And it helped me be more calm, more relaxed. Yeah. And my brain can work more effectively in this moment. Something like this.
Oh, I like that. So change the schedule and also adapt your rate of breathing individually and in the micro moment. It doesn't have to be like this like big endeavor of that. It can be very micro and in the flow of work, in the flow of life.
Yeah,
As we
small tips, for instance, have you ever thought that you can count your pulse? You can feel your pulse somewhere here. No, without any kind of touching, but you're just sitting and you can hear your heart. You can count your pulse. If you heard, if you've been in such situations, not right now, but for instance in your past, if you can count your pulse without any kind of measurements, just
oh,
you can feel it, yeah, somewhere
here.
here, or probably somewhere here in the stomach or some. It means you have already stress because in your task to calm you down at this moment. This is like a small tips how to very quickly recognize
Love that.
stress.
And how, as team leaders, no matter whether how small or how big the team that you lead, what would be your suggestions for them in terms of leadership, physiological diversity informed leadership, and how would you recommend them to lead the team with
You
such
know,
a insight?
today, unfortunately, we every minute, every second are running in our business, in our challenges. We just moving, yeah. And we, first of all, we forget about people who surrounding us. yeah, like our team, because of KPIs, because of goals, and because of everything. But we forget about ourselves, that we must have some kind of a balance, yeah, because question how long our body will support us. Because you remember I showed you this chart and showed these people who there's a risk of burnout, yeah. Question is very simple. Just imagine that you drive a car on the second gear, but your speed 100 kilometers on the second gear. Question how long your engine, your car engine will support you. Yeah? The same with our body. We can be healthy, effective, like a fire, and go forward, but one day something will broken in our body, and we can get anxiety, depression, I don't know, stroke or something else, because our organism is very difficult, and influence can be absolutely in different places. Yeah. Topic to be ready and probably to get ready for stress and how to manage and control such a situation. And this also helpful for you for your life.
I think as I'm listening and reflecting, I think that one of the most simple thing that we can do is just to communicate your current state and preempt. And then in this way, as long as people are aware and at least they start conversations in this way, we're doing something to the wellness.
Yeah, question is how to avoid any kind of manipulation with such data. Yeah, because if I can be stressful, but probably I'm not as stressful. Yeah, but I want the additional day off. Yeah, and question is a transparency, to be transparent and to have some kind of a trust in the team to use this data and results uh, as a value, yeah, but not like a tool for manipulation, for instance.
Mm-mm. And then I am curious from the data validity perspective, are there cases where the data shows that the person is at the verge of burning out? Never, however, this person is actually not. What's the accuracy rate?
If you're talking about the accuracy of data, I will tell you one thing. Why do we use a headset itself? Yeah. Today, this is the only technology where we can create absolutely controllable and reproducible environment. I mean that it doesn't matter you or hundreds people before you or after you. You will be sitting in the one position, and you will be doing the same actions in the same environment, and means that the quality of measurement is really huge. Yeah, we when we validated our data, we made an experiment. Before the test in virtual reality with our solution, we ask a person to fill in two questionnaires. One questionnaire was 50 questions. Another questionnaire was like a scale with 10 levels. But what is more important, in the first and the second questionnaires about the same topic, anxiety. And we assumed that we will see the correlation between answers, means that these two questionnaires are really correct. We tested more than 120 managers, and correlation in women was 5%, in men was 0. Means everybody is lying. And if I will ask you, for instance, to fill in questionnaire right now, here, yeah, within our conversation, or for instance, at your home with a cup of tea, or third test or third questionnaire, the same questionnaire will be outside on the street, we will get three different Jiani. Question is, you can test it, you can check it. But here, the headset itself close off a person from external noises like sound, environment, people, everything, what can influence on our state and also provide us a portion of stress. Yeah, the headset is closed off from external noise. Second point, being fully immersed, you are not able to control yourself. Means that we are getting your real physiological data. And third point, if in real life I would put any kind of sensors on your body, like for instance, I would use some
Mhm.
kind of a cap with wet electrodes or something like this, put some kind of cardio device with electrodes. First of all, this is time-consuming process, and secondly, the process itself also provide you a stress. This is like a white coat effect when you visit for doctor to measure your blood pressure, white coat, and your blood pressure is going down, going up, yeah, because
Yeah,
you're
it's
afraid for,
introducing variables
yeah, because you're
into your
afraid for a
life.
doctor, for instance. In our case, everything is embedded into the headset, and for a user, it's absolutely invisible because in order to get into VR, you must to make a traditional action. Just put the headset on your head, yeah. And from this point of view, we are getting absolutely clear physiological data, and we have absolutely clear and controllable measurement environment with very high reliability of the data.
Mm. I like, and as we will see, like technologies evolve so fast, and now we're leveraging the virtual reality. There are like Gen AI and AGI way in the future. There are also like human, like a brand machine interaction, and Web 3.0,
Mhm.
of all those like technologies just rushing into our future reality and also current reality. How do you see the future, like the best kind of future that from your approach and your perspective, what would that look like?
You know, probably I might be saying something unpopular now, but unfortunately, today's generation, our children, they are digital natives living in constant information noise, yeah? And
Yeah.
they may not know how to tighten a nut, for instance, but they are adept at swiping and so on and so forth. And I dream of advanced technologies, but only as a tools to assist humans. People should still have the ability to think, create, build, love, and hate. However, technology should definitely serve as a bridge to enhancing human physical and mental health. For me, technology is just like a tool, but not as I know something unique. Yeah, because we must be unique.
I love that. So no matter how many technologies or how many diversity of technologies, that it's only helping us, and we need to position ourselves in that state.
Exactly.
Beautiful. And were there any potential risks and challenges that you foresee? Are there any safety, like safeguard that we can put now toward the future?
If you're talking about the main risk, that for me, the main risk involves working with physiological data, because for many this is very sensitive and taboo subject, yeah, and therefore one of the primary concerns is ensuring that the security of the data and demonstrating and proving that under no circumstances can it be accessed by unauthorized parties. So physiological data is one of the most risky situations. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely today is not possible based on your physiology recognize you. Yeah, it's not possible based on your cardio or brain or whatever. But still, for many people, it's really sensitive data.
Depending on what people want the data for and how they use that. So
Exactly.
definitely protect privacy, and that's beautiful. And is there any particular thought leaders that you follow that you would recommend our audience to continue learning about this space?
If you're talking about our subject, I appreciate what colleagues from OpenBCI are doing with the Galileo headset and the very interesting solution from Korean Luxit company. They're also working in the field of neuro and brain activities. There are many startups emerging in the field of neuro data, for instance. Not so many in cardio and in collaboration with VR, but still. And definitely, it's fascinating to watch Elon Musk and his venture into invasive implants. Yeah, we live in quite interesting times where probably artificial intelligence and in the future artificial psychologists and psychotherapists who understand physiology as well could be the cherry on top.
I love that. So it's like a lot of cross-disciplinary
Yes.
work coming. That's beautiful. And so let me give our audience a brief recap of so far what we talked about. We've covered a lot of things, and we'll move into the magic conversation. So far, we talked about Kirill's story, how and why he founded CleverPoint, and what does CleverPoint mean. He showed us a chart of like where is people's physiology data, which is basically mind and heart. And through that chart, we're able to see who are those people thrive in stress and do high performing, who are people who when their stress is high the cognitive functions are being compromised. And we also talk about from like a longitudinal perspective, even people who have high performing and high stress, these may or may not sustain. And again, it differs from different people's physiological states. A topic of physiological diversity was born, and how that can be a powerful language and tool for managers, leaders, and even talents to be more aware of their physiological state and start communicating with evidence or data informed communications with each other, so they can have the best collaborations moving forward, solving problems for other group of people. And we also talked about some potential future challenges of of such a physiological data, because that can be very private, even though it's can be anonymous, but still the data can be very tricky depending on who want to do what to the data. So privacy is number one concern. And we're also talking about from a philosophical perspective, as the technology starts to evolve more, and it becomes more and more important for humans as the real intelligence to take control or to master all the technologies and leverage technologies to help us enhance more self-awareness, better communications, and deeper empathy within the team and with each other.
Right.
Beautiful. And as we move into the magic conversations, so Kirill, what did you enjoy doing when you were 11 or 12 years old? That time just disappeared.
Good question. From modern to the past. I loved music and reading. I enjoyed I enjoyed walking in the forest and making crafts from wood, for instance. I liked mowing the lawn with a traditional hand size, probably you probably heard. A skill that few possess today, for instance. I loved socializing and meeting with friends. It was a great, lovely time. Back then, there were no smartphones or computer games, so we invented our own games. And I couldn't afford to buy the game Monopoly, for instance, so I made my own version of it with my friends. Yeah. I also loved making bows and arrows, and even crafted a crossbow. It was a very nice period of time.
Very diverse.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Because
And
it is be flexible in period of time when you have a lot of constraints and you have no ability to buy or to purchase something. Your fantasy and yeah, yes, your abstract vision and some kind of fantasy, and you can do everything.
were you able to do some of those right now? You still
Yes,
play some
yes,
jazz?
I like to making crafts from wood still, but yeah, more already serious chairs or beds or something like this.
Oh, I love that. Woodwork is actually, yeah, the way for us to be creative.
To
Do you
develop
play?
our brain, we must to work with hands because hands develop our brain as well.
Yeah, there was a book called The Extended Mind. It's like how the physical body is actually part of our learning mechanism. It's not just here.
Right?
Were there any particular challenges that you have to go through and help to shape who you are?
To be honest, I'm afraid that I will get tired of moving forward, and there should always be untouchable goal because the journey to it's more important than the goal itself.
I think it's whenever we feel like, oh, there's a goal, we need to reach it, and once we reach it, now we have the new responsibility of like, okay, what's the next goal? And
Right,
while we're on the journey, we know this is our North Star, at least for the next 5, 10, or even more years, and that
exactly.
helps us to decrease part of the stress. And what do you think overall is your magic then?
Desire to help people. I like to help people. This is like a boomerang. If you run this boomerang of help, someday this help come back to you. Maybe yes, maybe not, but doesn't matter. It's good desire and good goal.
The process of throwing that boomerang is very gratifying already. And then if it comes, great. And if not, that's okay. I'll keep throwing boomerangs.
Exactly.
I love that.
And
And
don't wait for any kind of response like a thanks or whatever from people. If you are waiting for thank you, it's not clear.
conditional,
Traditional, yeah. It must be go
yeah,
from your soul,
the essence of you. You want
right?
to be very helpful. That rejuvenates our soul and makes our existence enjoyable. And thank you, Kirill, for such a wonderful data packed and philosophy packed and happiness packed conversation. And for folks who want to get connected with Kirill, all his contact information is in the show note below. So we really, really encourage you to get connected and hope our community can grow and people can help each other and enjoy the process of helping each other and enjoy the process of being helped.
Being
um,
helped, yeah.
yes.
Thank you very much and be healthy. Peace to everybody.